Hi, it's Nick from UK Gardening. Well, as you can see, I've got a number of leaves blown down off the trees. We had a couple of cold days which really turned the leaves, and they've fallen down. If you leave them on the lawn, they'll kill the grass, or certainly the grass will suffer. So it's best to pick them up. Any leaves that are on the border, I tend to just leave. The worms will actually break those up and drag them down into the soil and yeah, create some body for it. But these leaves I've swept up off the patio and taken off the rest of the lawn, and I've put them up on this top lawn. And now what I'm actually going to do is just chop them up and put them in a bag. You can actually add them to compost bin, but the sheer volume of leaves will actually just overwhelm the compost bin. And also they break down in a different process. Compost breaks down with a bacterial process, a hot compost, and it'll break the plant material down. The leaves won't actually break down that way. They break down with a fungal process, which is cold. So you really need to separate the two. But if you do have some leaves, you can mix in with the green waste of grass cuttings and things like that. And it'll add body and structure to the compost heap. So what I'm going to do is I've raked all these up onto this top lawn. You can see there's a fair amount here. Just get rid of my rake. Now what I'm going to do is put the lawnmower, I'll put it on the highest setting, take off the grass box. You can actually just bundle leaves into bags, and but they take probably double the length of time to actually break down. If you chop them up, I found that they're ready to use in probably about a year's time. And it's great for planting up things like seedlings, because there's so little nutrients in the dead leaves. Seedlings don't actually need nutrients to get them germinated, but it gives them really good structure for the roots of the seedlings to grab onto. So yep, I've put that on the high setting, taken off the grass box, and it's just a matter of running over them. Now if I just ran through the middle, the lawnmower will actually really choke. A lot of the leaves will actually get caught up in the blades. So what I'm going to do is actually just cut down this side, or cut down the middle of the heap of the pile. So if I put the lawnmower to the camera, so I'm actually just going to put half the lawnmower cutting the leaves and the other half free, and that should allow the lawnmower to actually chop them up nicely. Right, and once you've cut it in one direction, just cut it in the other direction. What you're actually trying to do is end up with something that's the size of a postage stamp. You can see here that we've still got quite a few leaves in there, or quite a few fold leaves in there. So we're just going the other direction. Right, that's pretty good. Now I'm going to give it one more go in the other direction again, and then I'll rake it all up. As I say, I want to get down to pretty much postage size, but as you can see, it's already reduced the volume by quite a lot. Okay, that's probably about good enough size. If I just bring this up to the camera, you see that it's cut it pretty small. This is probably a better example. So it's actually just broken a lot of the leaves up, which is what we wanted to try and do. Yeah, now I'm going to give it a rake and put it into a bag. If it's too dry, some of these leaves on the bit closer to the camera, they're off the patio and they were very dry. The ones further away from the camera are actually off the lawn and they're a bit wetter. But when I put them in the bag, I just make sure that you don't want to make them wet, just damp, I would say. The perfect environment for growing fungus and mould. You can see when I'm raking here, I'll be raking up some of the grass cuttings as well. Don't worry about that, it all adds to it. And don't worry too much about leaving odd bits of leaf on the lawn. The worms will drag that down. But once you do this, it might be worth going over, if you can feel any compacted areas, going over with a garden fork and just aerating the lawn. Just get a few off the path here. Yeah, these there are still quite a lot of leaves here, so I might get another once over with the lawnmower. We'll see. Giving it a quick break up, just into a small part. I'm going to give it another run over with the lawnmower. Still 7 height. So now just rake it up again. And then put it into bags. You can see this is now much smaller, much finer. I think it's just increasing the surface area, so you give the fungus and the mould more surface area to work on. And it seems that the finer you chop at the start and it breaks down. I think the whole leaf, if you put them in a bag, it'll probably take a good 2 to 3 years. I know that cutting them up like this, it can take a year, 18 months. Depending on conditions, warmth, how wet the material actually is, or how damp it is. Once I've raked these up, it's just I've got these black bin bags. Just load them in. as you're loading them in, just check how dry they are, and if you really want you don't want them too wet. So I mentioned just wringing out a cloth. That's the sort of moisture content you want. I prefer to use my hand, but if you've got them, these, I can't remember what these are called, helping hands? Sorry? Leaf grabbers, says my assistant, off camera. That you put like that, and then you think, oh. So, hence why I prefer to use my hands. Oh, if you have an assistant, then obviously use the leaf grabbers. One more, I think. Now, that does feel a bit on the dry side, I must admit. So I'm going to get a watering can. Okay, so I've got a watering can, and I'm just going to, don't overfill them. If you can't lift them, there's no point putting any more in there. So just give it a bit of a water, tie the top, he says. Like that. And now with a garden fork, just stick some holes in it. This will let the air in. Don't put too many in, otherwise it will ruin the structure of the bag. There we go, one done. Right, I'm going to carry on doing this. I did mean to say at the beginning of this video, obviously choose a nice dry still day to rake up your leaves, otherwise you'll be chasing them around the garden. And that's about it really. Thanks very much for your time. If you've got any questions, please post them below. Thanks. Bye.